Going live. What? All right, all right, all right, all right. We are live. All right. Awesome that this didn't have issues like I normally have with my live streams. I'm excited to get on to this topic. Branding has been the thing I've been ranting about for quite a while now for agencies. And I want to share what I'm doing. I'm starting a new agency. Uh, Hard to believe that I'm getting back into that game. I've been in the space of trying to invest in agencies, and I want a specific kind of agency, and I have not been able to find that person and company to invest in. So I decided gonna start my own, and it's called Nail Gun. And I am going hard on this. I've got a video that's going to be coming out. We're in the editing process right now, and it's going to come out probably Tuesday next week. And that one's going to showcase some of the things that I'm doing, the stylescape that I'm making for my own branding process. And you'll be able to see a behind the scenes of what it takes to create a brand, especially for an agency in today's world, because the thesis that I'm running on is that branding is the only thing that's going to differentiate you between you and all your competitors. Picking a niche isn't sufficient anymore. The advice of go find a niche, pick that niche, and that's going to be sufficient for you to stand out. It's almost impossible these days to have a unique selling proposition, a USP, for you to be different from all the thousands of other people who are in your niche saying they can do exactly what you do. Brand is the only thing that's going to do it. And I want to take this time to answer any questions you have about your brand. Let's make it specific to you. So I'm going to pop over here. I already see some questions already coming in. Some people popping in saying, hey, Tim, Anand, it's a pleasure. Sam Nabil, how can I get clients without testimonials? Randall, I see you've got a question. I'll come back to you since I just read out Sam's. All right, Sam, getting clients does not require testimonials. It's helpful. What testimonials are credibility indicators. Credibility indicators help you develop trust. If you don't have credibility indicators in the form of testimonials, then you need to develop other credibility indicators, ones that you have control over. One of these things you can do is create your own portfolio where you make your own work. Some of this could just be samples, like things that you would like to do for a client. And that's a good thing to set up, is like, this is kind of work that I would like to do for someone else. But then the other thing you can do is do work for yourself, promote your own company, and do a great job in the assets that you make, the creative that you generate. Do a very good job there and turn yourself into your own case study to be able to show to people that you are capable of doing the work that you wish to do for them. The other is to use sparingly free work for other people. If you don't have anything, like you have no credibility indicators, like you're fresh out of school, you're just now studying, and you don't have a lot to go with, and you're trying to make your own portfolio and all that, well, then go do some free work. Not a lot of it, just a little bit, to build an actual portfolio where you can say, I did this for a real company. I did this for real people. And even though they didn't pay me, I did it for real people, and I can do the same thing for you. And that's the fastest way you can make that transition from being someone without testimonials to someone with testimonials. Because after you do that free work, you get those people to give you a testimonial about the quality of your work, not mentioning the fact that it was free. All right. Hopefully that helped. Randall, Sensei. I don't know. I got the samurai hair, but I don't know if sensei is the right word. Question, when it comes to pricing, what's the best way to structure it? What was the thing that clicked for you to begin to charge the amount that you charge now, and the mental state work? That's actually quite a number of questions, literally, but also it's a pretty big question. Um, Structuring pricing is it's really dependent upon how big the price is and how long the project's going to take. If you're on monthly, if you're doing like a monthly recurring service, well, then you need a project at the beginning and then do the monthly recurring service so that you get paid for all the costs of acquiring that customer, all the costs of setting everything up, all the costs that go into the planning and the strategy. You need to get paid for that at the beginning, then go into your monthly recurring services. And then after you've been working with that client for a while, you probably should do another project, one that helps you increase revenue per client, makes you more profitable, but it also gives your client a spike of happiness because every time a project is completed, people and it works. People feel great about it and they're happy with you. But with the recurring services, it's just always you could be doing a great job and they just will not feel that way. So you always should have additional projects to do. So you're always getting a revenue, extra spikes of revenue that gives your client spikes of happiness. But then if you've got a large project that's going to take a long time, say 3 or 4 months, maybe 5 months, and you're going to charge, I don't know, $50,000 or more, and that's a great place to split it into at least 5 different payments so that you are not in deep. Like if you take a 50% payment, which a lot of people will recommend, take a 50% payment. But the problem is if you take a 50% payment and that client 2 months in turns out to be a real pain in the ass and you just got to get out from underneath this person, you've got to give back a lot of money, and then you're going to be trying to justify that we didn't do 50% of the work, but we did 30% of the work. And that person that you're dropping is going to tell you, no, you didn't even do 10%. And you're going to argue over how much money you get to keep. Odds are you end up having to refund the entire amount. But if you do the 5 payment or even more than 5 payments, then you're not too deep into the project and you only work up to the point where you have been paid, and then you get the next payment and then you work up to the next one, and that keeps you in balance with you and the client. All right, hopefully that helps. Let's see. Bluefuse.com, I'm assuming that's like bluefuse.com from Canada. What's up, Canuck? It's great having you here. Would you recommend video as a primary driver for a brand and then repurpose it in many ways? No, I wouldn't recommend it. If you suck at doing video, like I chose this, like I specifically chose doing video, and I honestly know I'm not great at it. I wish I was. I wish I was really funny. I wish I was really entertaining, charismatic. I don't have any of those things. And video, to get the best out of it, like you got to come across with some charisma or be very good at filmmaking or have somebody who's very good at filmmaking. And I'm just doing this myself. So if you figure out a way to do great video, then video's awesome because it can turn into a bunch of different assets, especially as Gary Vee and others call it micro content. We can take a clip from any video, like even this recording we're doing right now, we can take a clip from this and then put it on Instagram. We can put it on Facebook. We can put it in LinkedIn. We can do all kinds of things with it. And we can take, I can do a funny pose or, do some pose on here and then take that as a screenshot. And then that becomes a meme. And there's so many things you can do. And then if you are good at speaking or have really good audio editing, you can take that audio and turn it into a podcast and use audio clips and audio memes. There's a bunch of things you can do if you're willing to do the work. And this is far harder than learning how to write. It's far harder than learning how to do a podcast, doing an audio format. It is difficult. And if you're willing to go through that work like I did, like I'm a year, just over a year into this after my buddy Miles Beckler convinced me to do this. And I still feel like I'm just still learning how to do even a little bit of this video stuff. All right. So if you're willing to do the work, it's worth it. Okay. What would you, again, another question from Blue Fuse Com. What would you recommend as a core method for acquiring new business? Core method. If you're at the early stages, then cold outreach. And then picking a form of cold outreach. Email is kind of dying in the cold format. Email's amazing for people who are connected with you. Email's great for that. But cold, it's kind of dying. It's really hard to actually get your emails seen today. But I would then maybe go over to LinkedIn, where you're still able to spam the crap out of the members. That might be a good place for you to start doing some cold outreach and really do some deep connection with people on LinkedIn so that you can get a chance to have a conversation. So hopefully that helps. All right, let's scroll through. Anad has a question. I started my agency focusing on YouTube content and optimization for clients. That's why I named it VidGrowth. I've since expanded into more content marketing for different platforms. I guess it's continued on. Right now, I have a team that can create high quality videos and graphics for any platform. I handle the marketing because that's my background. Should I change my brand, or is VidGrowth good? If you're going to stay in the video space, and there are a lot of video production companies out there that do a great job with video, and that's all they do. So if you're going to stay with video, then VidGrowth is still good, and you can do it on a video on all kinds of platforms. Video is amazing for Instagram. Video is amazing for LinkedIn. Video is amazing, obviously, for YouTube. You got to be video. That is a growth industry. How you actually position yourself and what hook that you give them, the thing that you're going to offer that makes you stand out. Why would I hire your video production company over someone else's? That's the thing that you're going to really have to figure out. That the brand name is not going to be as important as figuring out what that hook is. All right. Jacob LE, which I think Jacob was doing something around video also, but let's get into his question. Thanks for going live, Tim. I'm starting to charge for my strategy. Do you charge as high a rate on the strategy as on custom work? Do you offer strategy as a standalone or always bundled with custom? I think if you can do strategy only and do absolutely nothing else, then do strategy only. You'll be very profitable. Your clients will be very happy, and it's a lot less stressful. Doing any client work afterwards, any kind of custom services after the fact, after you do that, that's when all the hard stuff starts. That's when you start haggling with your client. That's when you start figuring out billable hours, like making sure your staff is working enough for the amount that you're charging your clients, and you're getting results. All that other stuff, all the hard stuff starts after strategy. So if you don't have to, don't do it. But if you are going to do both, which I like to do both, I think having the ability to do services, a small number of them, don't get too custom. A small number of services, maybe even a single service afterwards that fits with whatever you've built in the strategy, that makes sense. Like, you can do something like that, and you and your client are going to be happy with that. That would be my recommendation. Let's see, Kazra, I'm giving free marketers audit to local spas. I've had a hard time following up since when I call, they give me cold answers, and when their business even when their business needs me. Okay. So earlier I said about free work in the form of do a complete project. Doing something free and sending it to somebody, it's unwanted. How many times have you talked to a friend and you've given them advice they didn't ask for? And guess what? They don't take it. And those are your friends, those are and your family members that you give advice to and they don't listen to you. They like you, they know you, they trust you, and even they will not do advice that they didn't ask for. And specifically, they won't do advice that they didn't pay for. So I would not recommend you do something free and send it to somebody. I don't even really recommend doing free strategy sessions. I would say do as little free work as you possibly can. Have a different filtering process. The thing that if you're going to work with spas, target ones that make a lot of money and not the low end spas, not the startup spas. Target the ones who are already making money. And then do something like lead magnets. Do some excellent direct mail. Do something to stand out and get their attention so that they raise their hand and say, yes, I would like you to talk to me. That's what you need to do. All right. JC Productions, 1995, a great year. Netscape had their IPO and changed the face of the internet. So great year. Hey, I've just started my digital marketing company and I was curious, what are some ways that you draw out your contracts with clients? I don't draw out contracts with clients. So I'm thinking like drawing out, like extending it, but do you mean like actually come up with the wording of the contract? You'll have to give me some feedback on that. Jacob, great answer. Thanks, Tim. You rock. No, Jacob, you rock. And you don't give yourself enough credit for your videos. You're providing more value than 99% of channels out there. Well, thank you. You know, I do give value, but see, there's a difference. And I just had this, I just got interviewed for a podcast this morning. And one of the things I was talking about on there, it was about content creation was what the theme of the podcast is. And giving value is, well, subjective, but giving value isn't important in the grand scheme of things. Look at look at the channels that get the most views. Look at the channels that succeed the most. A great channel, Casey Neistat's YouTube channel. You don't learn anything. It's just entertainment, but you feel like something happened. Gary Vee, who talks about business all the time, doesn't teach you anything in any video. You don't learn anything. But when you get done with a video, you feel like, man, I got value from that. So entertainment is actually far better than education. And but if somebody feels like they've gotten education and in that form of entertainment, then you've got something magical. I have not landed that yet. I'm working on it. I will one day. Maybe I need to go take acting lessons or something, but finding a way to be entertaining will get far more views, which in turn can help far more people with their problems in their lives. So that's the actual goal. Okay, but thank you for the compliment. Okay, so JC Productions, like coming up with contracts and terms. The best thing you can do, you're going to need a lawyer. So right now, the stuff I'm about to say is not legal advice. It is for informational purposes only. And now my disclaimer is out of the way. You need to have a conversation and record it. Like do your best to, if you can record it, if you're doing stuff over the phone, if you're doing it in person, have a recorder, have somebody taking notes. Don't try to take all the notes yourself. You'll never remember everything. And you won't get things down in the exact wording that you and your prospect have talked about. Because what you want to do is find their words and your words. And as you have this agreement, you come to an agreement about everything you're going to do, and then you write it down. So what a lot of people do is they have a sales conversation with their prospect, and the prospect says, "Okay, great. Now send me a proposal." And you're like, "Okay," and you write up a whole bunch of crap that you think they're going to want, and you guess as to what the price should be, and you send it off to them. What I think you should do is in your sales conversations, you come to an agreement. Oh, you're going to do strategy, and that strategy is going to cost $10,000. And then you're going to, after that strategy, you're going to present this report, and you're going to then work with the client to then scope out what you're going to do from that point on. And then in that process, you start having agreement. Oh, you want me to do your Facebook ads? You want me to do ads on Instagram? You want me to do video ads that are going to go on other sites, maybe through a Google ad platform, or any DoubleClick, or any of the other platforms that exist out there. You're going to do ads for those things. Like, you come to an agreement on that, and then you come to an agreement on the price, all in the form of a conversation. A great book you really should read is The Win. They got to get I always forget the part. The Win Without Pitching Manifesto by Blair Enns. Blairenns. It's on my shelf somewhere back there. But you should read that one. That is all about having a conversation and getting down the terms of the agreement verbally between you and your client before it gets written into an agreement. Hopefully that helps. All right. All right. So let's see, go through some more here. Jeremy Ferguson, I want to run local Facebook ads for LMTs and take a cut for each lead that I generate them. What do you think of this? Lead gen is a great business if you go all in on it. There's a lot of people that sell on a per lead basis, some that get a percentage. One of my very good friends, Vincent Nguyen, he does Facebook advertising, and he gets paid for all the leads that he's sending on a per lead basis, and basically gets a cut of the sales that happens. And he's generating a lot of money working part-time, but he's got a handful of clients, and has a good business. That is a rare instance. Not very many people end up having that close of a relationship with their partners, where they're on a very cordial terms, actually like each other, would even go have a beer with each other. Most of the time in the lead gen business, it becomes very adversarial. That, oh, these leads were crap leads. You're sending me bad leads, even though they converted and turned into money. Oh, I don't need to pay you for those because those leads were actually generated because of something else. It can become a very adversarial role. That's why I don't like the leads business. I won't go into the leads business myself. But if you go all in on leads, you can make a very good income. All right. All right. Let's see. Let's see other questions. And let's see. Good, Jeremy. And let's see. Going through the questions. Let's see. Any more questions? Just going through, checking them out, making sure I didn't miss anything. Okay, going back to a nod on video and graphics. I position myself, my brand, as creative media and marketing to grow your business. Do you think this is a good start? Probably. It probably is a good start. Because I don't know enough details, I can't give you the exact. Like, it can't give you the exact response. Like, here's what you should do, because video and graphics, and like graphics is a broad term even in itself. knowing exactly who you serve, what you do, like who are you going to do these videos and graphics for? Is it a particular industry? Is it a particular type of problem that you solve? Do you do commercials? Do you do content? Do you do YouTube channels like mine? Like, do you produce them? Like, I have an editor that does all the editing for my videos. Like, what is it that you're actually solving? And that's where you should put your effort. Okay. Scrolling down. JC Productions, you're welcome. Headley Swan, how you doing, sir? Just saw Headley twice in 2 different countries, first in Thailand and then in Australia, where he is from. So that was great. Hey, Tim, how are you going about structuring, creating, positioning, USP, messaging, etc. for Nail Gun? Any tips, books, resources you recommend? Let's see. I'm not using any particular books or anything on that because it's something that I've done over the years, a lot of branding. But let's see. Yeah, I'm not using any books. I can't really recommend any there. But I'm going about looking at what's happening in the industry that I'm going to target and what I think should be the message. So Nail Gun is targeting the construction industry. The company that I invested in, Contractor Dynamics, went from doing agency work to now it's an education company. And so I still want to be in that space. So one of the things that I see about construction is it's not celebrated. It's not celebrated like other fields, like going into SaaS and things like that. It's like those things are exciting and sexy and everything. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the concepts of celebrating success, like hard work and struggle to become successful, like Nike. So I'm modeling Nike's messaging and style for the construction industry. So dark colors, bold color, dark backgrounds, bold colors, strong fonts, really dramatic images. Those are all the things that I'm going to do to start separating brand image from everyone else. Messaging, I'm still working on, and I'll talk about at a later time. But basically, I'm going with how I want to present it. The main thing I want to do is celebrate the struggle to success, the hard work to success that people do in the construction industry, kind of treating them like professional athletes. That's the idea, the concept behind it. I don't know if that really even answered your question, but that's what I like talking about. Joshua Tucker. So if I needed money today, what should I do? I have a digital marketing agency in a small local town. I would go onto LinkedIn and I would look up all the types of businesses that you are capable of serving, that you know that you can get a result for, and contact everyone who is listed as entrepreneur, owner, CEO, and probably like director, some kind of director level, maybe director of marketing or something like that, and reach out and message them and try to get them to have a conversation with you. That's the first thing I would tell you to do. Don't worry about your small town. Don't worry about doing local. We have this thing called the internet. You can do business anywhere in the world. All right, that's what you should do. Okay, bluefuse.com. Would love to know how you know Miles Beckler. Love his channel too. Yeah, love Miles's channel. So I met Miles, oh gosh, when was the first time? I think I met Miles in Barcelona in 2015 or 2016, something like that. And then I Met him in Thailand, in Chiang Mai, Thailand. He was at an event going through a program, like a productivity program in Chiang Mai, and I was one of the guest instructors. So I came there and was giving instruction there, and Miles and I and Melanie, we hung out, went running around Chiang Mai in northern Thailand, ate a bunch of Thai food together, and that started our friendship all those years ago. Then he bought a house about an hour and 20 minutes from my house. And so I'm going to be on his, going up to his house this weekend, and we're going to do some recording and then running around Sedona because it's crazy beautiful there. So that's how we know each other. Do 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 do. Let's see, Jacob. I've tried to read the books behind you. So far, I've read Ready, Fire, Aim. That's a good book. Win Without Pitching, a great book. Badass Your Brand. That one's all right. That's mostly a personal story. Principles is a good book. Getting everything you can out of everything, all that you've got. A great book. I give that one away. Let's see. Any other good ones for my reading list? If we're talking business, read Peter Drucker. Peter Drucker is going to be very helpful. If you want to learn more about management of a business, then you should read Dr. Ichak Adizes, Adizes. His stuff is gold. Let's see. Sorry, no español, my Spanish is terrible. And Pedro, my video editor, always wants me to speak Spanish, and my Spanish is horrendous, so I'm not going to butcher your language. So sorry about that. Let's see. Back to Randall on the topic of branding. What are things that can develop a brand? I know there's many ways to skin a cat, but what would you say are the key essential things to build a long-lasting brand? To build a long-lasting brand, consistency. So the first thing is to have a point of view, have a perspective. Say you're going to take a stand for something, and then be consistent over the course of years, decades. That is what builds a really strong brand. Having a strong perspective, a view of the world that you share, and then do so over and over and over and over again. That's because building a brand, like what I'm working on right now for Nail Gun, is the look, the message, our perspective, the thing that we're going to stand for. And that's okay, but that's still not a brand because the market doesn't even know it exists. So the market has to be educated on that brand message over and over again. And I have to stay consistent over the course of years. And that is where the brand building actually occurs. That's why we buy Nike. That's why we buy Adidas or any other particular brand. That's why we buy them, is because they've been in our heads for a lot of years. Let's see. Scrolling. All of a sudden, it just jumped. So Kazra, do you remember how much Miles was charging for the business audit? I don't know. What he was doing there. Joshua Tucker, we have a website and offer the usual digital marketing agency stuff, B2B company. Awesome. Let's see. Oh, you had a question before that. Oh, it's about the small town. You have a website and you do the digital marketing agency stuff. Simplify. So Joshua, don't do a lot. Simplify down. Maybe just do websites. Maybe just do Facebook ads. Just do one thing when you reach out to those other companies. Scrolling. All right, so let's see. I think I've gotten there. What are the key, so Shams, what are the key skills to be best at for starting a solopreneur agency, kind of freelancing? Being a freelancer means you need to be good at the thing that you do. Oh, with like an agency, I can be good at managing people. Back in the day when I was a web designer, I was at the beginning of my marketing agency. I was doing websites and started doing SEO, started doing all these other things. Realized I wasn't great at any one of those, but I was really good at putting together all those pieces and pointing all those pieces in a particular direction. So I started hiring those people. I started hiring people who are good at SEO, hiring good web designers, good coders, started hiring all these people, and then I would direct them in the right direction. So if you're going to be a freelancer, be good at the thing you're going to sell. So if you're a graphic designer, be good at graphic design. If you're going to be a web designer, be very good at it. And that is going to be one of the main things that's going to keep you working for years. Then the next thing is to get good at marketing the fact that you're good at those things. Back to Headley. Thanks, Tim. Yeah, I was curious about how you approach branding. Looking forward to future videos on progress. Yeah, well, I'll get more into branding and how to brand an agency as I start building out mine. I want to try to showcase it for everyone, and that might give you some ideas and to see my thinking process behind it. Because I think that's the only thing for us agency owners is having a strong, visible brand and a strong message to differentiate ourselves between us and all the people who do exactly the same stuff that we do. Okay, JC Productions, 1995. Hey, one more question. What's the best way to go about starting a review site or niche blog site for a company that doesn't already have an existing affiliate program? Not my space. I could answer it. I haven't done that kind of stuff in a long time, in gosh, 6 years or something. So I would be giving you an answer based on old knowledge. If you want that kind of information, go to somebody who specifically does that. Miles Beckler is doing exactly those things. And he's also giving amazing education away for free on his YouTube channel. So I would say go there and get an answer from somebody who's knowledgeable, who is an expert at that. So that's my recommendation. All right, let's scroll through. Okay, Henry from Nigeria. Awesome. How do you go about generating leads and thought leadership in a niche as an agency through the internet? Content. Content is one of the best things that you can possibly do. If you can do video, do video. Otherwise, writing, audio, thought leadership is having great thoughts and sharing them with the world. If you don't share those thoughts, then no one's going to know. So that's one of the things you should do. And one of probably the best platform right now is LinkedIn. And you can start building a strong voice on LinkedIn and build the trust necessary to do business with companies all over the world. That's what I recommend. Okay, Shams, what is the best outreach method to prospects for a freelancer with the best results you've seen in your career? Face to face. Like, it's slow. It is time consuming, but it gets the best results. It gets people who are willing to trust you pretty quickly, and will give you a shot. So you need to be somewhere where you can meet with a lot of people. If you're not, then it's just not gonna work out. So that's what I'd say is, if you're in a city, then you've got plenty of opportunity to go meet lots of people. Another thing is to try to do speaking engagements, do workshops. If you're in a city, a large enough town, do some workshops, get businesses to come to you and teach them something for anywhere from between 2 and 4 hours, and you will get clients out of that. We're doing workshops for our other agency, and that company is making a lot of money by bringing in people in the industry into a 4-hour workshop and then offering them to continue getting education from us. And it's been fantastic. So I would recommend that. Okay. So Kazra, it's like, what do you recommend to charge for an audit? Depends on how advanced your audit is. If your audit is basic, it's generic, it doesn't lead to any results, anything actionable, then I wouldn't charge very much at all. If it's something that they can then turn around and use, or be used by you or another agency to be able to implement something, if it's something of extreme value, well, then you can charge thousands of dollars. There's an agency that I know that for their sales process, they charge $4,000 for the sales process, which is essentially looking at their business, what they're wanting to achieve, and then scoping out all the things that they need to do to achieve the things that were uncovered in that process. Another term for this is called paid discovery. So with an audit, you might even just be doing paid discovery, and then you can charge anywhere from hundreds to thousands of dollars, and then give them at the end of this directions on what they need to do to get to to solve the things that were uncovered during that audit. So there isn't a set price, and it really depends on your skill level. The level of insight and results that you can get for somebody will determine how much you can charge for that. But if you've okay, so let me end with this. If you've never charged for an audit before, then start small, because it's low risk for you and it's low risk for your prospect. They really don't care about the price. You could charge them a few thousand, but the risk is really on you to be able to deliver something that they're going to find valuable enough that they're going to be happy that they paid you that money. And then that wasn't the last thing. Here I am. Then the last thing on that is you can always make the audit, the amount of money they pay for the audit, get deducted from any services that they actually hire you to do. That's something you can do to remove some of the risk on paying for that audit for your prospects. Okay, now I'm done. Now I'm done, son. All right. Back to Randall. So how do you discover the thing you stand for or against? How do you identify your brand message? I got a video on starting with what you stand against. So I don't even remember what I titled it, but something like that, what you stand against. It will help you figure out what you stand for. Because if you really hate certain things in your space, you can then do the opposite of that. And that'll give you the start. That'll give you the start of the things that you stand for. But it will take time to really get your message dialed. Okay, Shams, thank you for answering 2 of my questions. Grateful. You're very welcome. I'm glad you came on and asked questions. Makes this a far more entertaining Q&A if there's actual questions to answer. So Joshua Tucker, how do I sell strategy to someone before giving them the actual strategy? Go on to my playlist, and there is a whole section of videos on doing just that, like how to do strategy, how to sell strategy. That will hopefully answer all your questions. And if it doesn't, ask questions in those videos, and I will definitely come in and answer them. Let's see. Randall, thanks, my friend. Finally had the. Thanks. I should actually read this like a real human being. Thanks, my friend. Finally had the time to catch you on a live. Want to pick your brain. Is there a better way to accelerate the buying cycle for prospects? Get on calls, get them on a call, and if they can't make a decision right then, schedule another call. That will accelerate the buying process. And if they need other people to be a part of the decision-making process, well, then you help them get those other people onto that next call, and that will speed up the process. All right. Shams, got another question from Shams here. I'm just saying Shams, could be Shams. I don't know. I have my American pronunciation. Referring to my earlier question, I mean best outreach method to prospects. I'm actually in Asia, so was asking about remote outreach methods. You may name a few. That thanks a lot. Well, the internet provides us a great opportunity to do all sorts of outreach. Cold email, you need to do a good list. I've got a video called Hit List Marketing. You should go there. Start with building a solid quality list of people to go after. Then you can either do that on email and or probably both at the same time on LinkedIn. And then potentially moving to the phone, doing phone conversations. The next part of doing outreach is cold calling businesses. That would be the next part of outreach. But then I'm a marketer. So those are sales tactics. Those are all designed to generate a lead today that you can try to get onto a sales call. I'm a marketer. I like to do things for the long game. So I do stuff that gets people to contact me and say, hey, I want to work with you. And that's my form of outreach, is by doing content like this and other types of content and advertising that gets people to raise their hand, say, yes, I am interested in this. And then I can have that conversation, because then I'm coming into that conversation not as someone asking for work, but someone who's evaluating whether or not that person's worthy of working with me. That's how I like to do it. So hopefully that helps. Joshua, you are welcome. Let's see. And Randall, big thank you. Thank you for coming on. Yeah, thank you for being here, asking questions. Okay. So and Randall, you hit me with another question. I was like, just saying thank you, and I was going to wrap this whole thing up because we've been going for an hour. 45 minutes. I don't know. I can't count. 47 minutes and 2 seconds. All right. If you had to pick one strategy for business growth, what would it be? Advertising. Like, figure out a quality lead magnet and advertise it to your market. That's what I would do, because that's what I'm in the process of building right now for Nail Gun. So that's exactly what I would do, is do that. Get people to raise their hand, tell you that they're interested in speaking to you, and then get them on the phone. That's my strategy. It's not complicated, not special, not unique, but it works. Works every time, sir, every time. All right, everybody. I don't want this thing to go on. I usually end up trying to cut these things at 45 minutes and then going an hour and a half. So I will do one last question, as I always do with these videos. One last question. Whoever gets it in, I will answer your question. Do you have one? If not, going once, going twice, because then I am going to say goodbye. Let's see. Do we have one here? David, thanks for doing this again and again. You're the best. No, David, you're the best. Thank you. Thank you for coming on here. And so you do have a question. You get the last question. What is your thoughts on offline marketing, like networking locally? Be very careful. Like, networking in general sucks ass. I don't like it. And partly because I'm an introvert and I'd rather be behind a computer talking to it than actually being in a room talking to a bunch of people. So take that with a grain of salt. But network with people who are your target customer. Don't go to any kind of networking event. Go to places where your target customer is going to be. If your target customer is going to be at a seminar, going to be at an expo, going to be at a conference, or any kind of thing like that, then go there. Go see those people, because they're your target market, and get you a chance to actually speak face to face. If you go to a general networking group, then you could be talking to an insurance agent, and then next talking to a real estate agent, and talking to all these different people. So I would not do it unless everyone in that room is my target market. Then it's great. All right. YouTube censored your comment. LOL, networking does suck ass. Yes, it does. It does. So hopefully that helped you out. And Blue Fuse, thank you very much. Thank you for watching and asking questions. Randall, I'm not answering this, buddy. You're going to have to ask it. I see you trying to slip in another question. I already did the last question. I already did that one. So Randall, you're going to have to ask that in the comments right after this video is ended. You can ask that in the comments, and I will type in and answer it for you. And for everyone else watching, thank you. Thank you for watching and asking questions. And for everyone else, if you got questions additionally about branding, hit them in the comments. After this whole live thing is over, you can still ask questions. I will answer them. And go ahead and watch this video, or maybe this video over here. And that is all. Thank you all for being here. And goodbye.